gentlemen, you're watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
Alex Rodriguez with a tremendous home run. This ball hit hard to left center field. And Alex Rodriguez is having himself a big night. Alex Rodriguez against Perkins, a closer, 5 for 9 with 1 home run.
Pitch from Perkins, hit high in the air, deep center field. Back goes Hicks. This one is gone. A home run, and it's a tie ball game. Hit in the air, and this is deep. Deep right center field. Hicks going back near the wall, and this one is gone. A home run for John Ryan Murphy, and the Yankees lead 8-5. Much of that traffic headed towards downtown Minneapolis, Minnesota, where today the Yankees will play the Minnesota Twins as Hyundai presents the Sunday game of the week. It'll be the Yankees and the Twins in the final game of a 3-game series from Target Field. Hi, everybody. Ken Singleton along with John Flaherty. Last night, an epic comeback by the New York Yankees. They had fallen behind 5-0 going into the 4th inning, and then the bats started to work. Primarily, 2 hitters got the job done. One who has 677 home runs in his career, and one who now has 2.
Big night for Alex Rodriguez with the 3 home runs that he had last night. None bigger than the at-bat against Perkins, the closer. He had good numbers coming in against him. Perkins did not shy away from the challenge, and he paid the price. Tie ball game there. Big home run by Alex Rodriguez, the superstar to the backup catcher. John Ryan Murphy going the other way. A 3-run shot gives the Yankees the lead. They would hold on for a great comeback win. A lot of emotion in that clubhouse. CC Sabathia congratulating John Ryan Murphy.
Let's check out today's pitching matchup brought to you by People's United Bank NA. See what know-how can do for you. For the Minnesota Twins, Kyle Gibson will get the start. He's 8-7 with a 3.19 ERA. And for the Yankees, Nathan Eovaldi looking for win number 10 on the season against just 2 losses with a 4.43 ERA. When we come back here on Yes, Meredith Marakovits caught up with last night's hitting heroes, John Ryan Murphy and Alex Rodriguez, hitting the big blows in last night's comeback victory.
5 win, and the long ball a big reason why. They showed you why they're second in the majors, averaging 1.32 home runs per game. Alex Rodriguez was responsible for 3 of them, while John Ryan Murphy delivered the deciding blow, a 3-run shot in the 9th inning.
A pretty amazing feeling. It's got to be one of my best feelings as far as being since I've been in the major leagues. Like I said, there's no greater feeling than knowing you just won the game for your team.
Murph is just a great kid, and he does a phenomenal job behind the plate, backing up Mac. And today, that was really impressive.
He had a year off, and regardless of how old you are, how accomplished you are, it's pretty impressive to see what he's doing.
It was a great team win. Can't say enough about Murph, and Adam Warren came in and did a great job. Beltran beats out a ball. Great team effort.
Plenty more to come here on the Yes Network. Ken Singleton and John Flaherty coming your way next with lineups. First pitch, baseball, right here on Yes.
Make a connection to the road in the new Sonata. Visit your Hyundai dealer today. By Advanced Radiation Centers of New York. When it comes to fighting cancer, precision is everything. Call 844-2-RADIATION-DOC. And by your Tri-State BMW Centers. Well, earlier this morning here in Minneapolis, it was a cloudy day. Looked like it might rain, but As we get closer to game time, the sun has burst through, and it's a beautiful day for baseball here in Minnesota. Today's Yankees starting lineup presented by Lexus. And they'll be facing the right-hander Kyle Gibson. At the very top is going to be Jacoby Ellsbury, followed by Brett Gardner in left field. The DH today is Mark Teixeira. Batting fourth and cleaning up is Brian McCann, the catcher. Carlos Beltran will be in right field, followed by Garrett Jones at first base. Chase Headley will be at third. Didi Gregorius will be at short. And batting ninth and playing second base, Stephen Drew.
That lineup, a little day game after a night game lineup for Joe Girardi, and they're going to face right-hander Kyle Gibson. Finishing up his warm-up tosses, we'll look at his numbers on the year. His 20th start, 8-7, and the ERA, a very respectable 3.19. Look at our pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. He had a big first half, 2.85 ERA, kind of coming off a rough outing, has bumped that ERA over 3. And he's a big-time sinker ball pitcher. He has 22 double plays this year. That's the highest in the major leagues, tied with Mike Pelfrey, his teammate. And the Yankee numbers are not good. 3 starts against the Yankees, and the ERA 10.95.
So Gibson will get the start for the Twins today. Let's look at the Twins defense presented by Geico. Let's go from the outfield from left to right. It's going to be Rosario, Hicks, and Hunter. Plouffe, Nunez, Dozier, and Maurer in the infield for the Twins. And Kurt Suzuki. He's in there just about every day. He's doing the catching for Kyle Gibson. Jacoby Ellsbury getting ready, and we'll soon have the first pitch of the ball game. Ellsbury 1 for 9 in the series with a run batted in. The winner of today's game wins the series 2 out of 3. First pitch of the game is in there for a call strike from Gibson. Gibson, a tall right-hander, 27 years old, out of University of Missouri. And as we start the game, it's 82 degrees. And it's a key at bat, as you can see, for Ellsbury. He's been around that 300 mark just about all season long, but he's fallen below it at 299. So he's trying to jump back over 300. Count is 1-1. And he lifts one foul. This should reach the seats. And it is out of play. Well, let's take a look at the official weather conditions presented by Bigelow Tea. And it's 84 degrees. 9 miles per hour with the wind. And humidity at 52%. I would say, John, this is the most comfortable of the days that we've been here.
No doubt. And there were some rumors that we might have a little rain trouble today, but it looks like that's going to hold off. Turned out to be a beautiful afternoon here in Minnesota.
1-2 pitch. Was it that? It's a swing and a miss. Strike 3. I thought he might have foul tipped it. Ellsbury heading back to the dugout as Gibson picks up his first strikeout.
Yeah, good start for Gibson. And Ellsbury kind of saw it all. The sinker, the changeup, and finally the slider down and in. You get the scouting report on Gibson. It's pretty standard. Sinker, slider, change. Gets a lot of ground balls.
He also has a very high chase rate. You might have saw it right there, an example of it. Hitters have a tendency to chase pitches that Gibson throws out of the strike zone. He makes them look good, but they're really not. Here's Gardner. And he'll take the first pitch, maybe a little high for ball 1. Brett is 1 for 7 in this series. He did not start last night's game, but he did come on as a pinch hitter and remained in the ball game defensively. .1-0 pitch, and that is a call strike. The home plate umpire is Tom Woodring today.
Well, if Tom Woodring is going to give Gibson that pitch, the Yankees are going to have a tough afternoon. A sinker that was down a little bit. Brett Gardner kind of takes a step out of the box. Did not say anything to Woodring. I don't think he was real happy about that call.
He wouldn't chase that one out of the zone, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Gardner, coming into the game last night, had 2 at-bats, didn't reach base, and it was the first time he hadn't reached safely in 25 ball games, which was a career high. So that streak was snapped last night. 2-1 pitch. He takes it downstairs. 3-1. You know, Flash, you talk about the lower end of the strike zone, and I think over the last few years I've seen more low strikes called than I've ever seen before.
I think you're starting to see the low strike come back and not get as many calls off the plate. And obviously Quest Tech grades these umpires on balls and strikes. I think a lot more lower strikes are coming back into the game.
This ball is hit well to right center field. Hicks on the move. He's not going to get it. The ball hits the wall at about the 403 side, and Gardner will steam into second with a double. And there is your first hit of the ball game. So Brett Gardner starts a new streak of reaching safely.
Well, the most important thing about Brett Gardner's at bat, he got ahead in the count, 3-1, laid off some tough pitches, and then he could sit back and hunt that fastball. Once he got it, hammered it to right center field. Nice play by Hicks off the wall. That gets by him. It's an easy triple for Gardner.
That's Gardner's team leading 23rd double of the year. And with Alex Rodriguez out of the lineup, Mark Teixeira is going to move into the third slot, and he's also going to be today's designated hitter. Only for the second time this year, Tex has been the DH. First pitch is inside for ball one. Let's check out the Honda League leaders. American League RBI leaders, Jose Bautista, Josh Donaldson, both of the Blue Jays, and their high-powered offense with 66. The Teixeira, Kendrys Morales, Albert Pujols, and J.D. Martinez. We'll round out the top RBI producers. That pitch misses, and it's ball two. 2 balls and no strikes.
Well, Kenny, I don't know what you feel about this, though. If you're Alex Rodriguez and you hit 3 home runs last night, and this is one of those things that Joe Girardi does such a good job. He looks at the big picture, giving his players some days off. If I go deep 3 times in a game, I kind of want to be in there the next day.
2-0 pitch, and Teixeira takes it for a call strike. 2-1. I see your point, but I think you also made the point of the big picture. The Yankees are going from here to Texas. The forecast is that it's going to be 100 degrees every single day. So somebody's going to get some days off. Tomorrow's Alex's birthday. He wants to play on his birthday.
Well, I'll tell you what, I give Joe Girardi a lot more credit because I would have him in there today after going deep 3 times, but very disciplined, giving his players days off.
A look back at Gardner at second. He wasn't going anywhere. The shift is on, by the way, with Teixeira at the plate. 3 Twins infielders on the right side.
And guys, Alex Rodriguez was actually asked about that today. Did he think it was odd that he wasn't in there after the type of game he had last night? And he said, look, I knew from the beginning of the season that Joe Girardi had a plan. I'm on board with the plan. He's kept me in the loop, and that plan is for me to be healthy through all of October. So he understands the decision, but it still has to be tough with the way he swung the bat last night.
Yeah, it's got to be a tough decision for Joe Girardi, let alone Alex Rodriguez and the way he feels about it.
And Kenny, Joe Girardi also mentioned the fact that they'll see a lot of left-handed pitching in Texas as well, and that kind of played into things as far as giving him off today as opposed to giving him off in Texas.
Fouled off by Teixeira, and the count is 3-2. Yes, the opening pitcher for Texas tomorrow night will be Matt Harrison, a left-hander. And he'll be in there against Ivan Nova. He'll get the start for the Yankees. Full count now on Teixeira. And with the base open, I'm not so sure this is going to be a fastball, to be honest with you. Brian McCann's on deck. He's in the cleanup spot today. Teixeira has been red hot. He's 14 for his last 29. The 3-2 pitch, and he lines it foul, and it was a breaking ball. Teixeira's had the most hits on the Yankees this month. And he's hitting .324 in the month of July, so he's been red hot. He is 5 for 8 in this series. Once again, the 3-2 pitch, and it's fouled at the plate. One thing about moving to the third slot in the batting order, I always liked batting third because I knew I was going to hit in the first inning. Three and two, 1 out. Brett Gardner at second base. Yankees trying to get it started here in the first inning. 3-2 pitch is swung on and missed, strike 3. So Teixeira can't connect with the 3-2 fastball, and he's gone.
Well, Gibson came right at him. You see the fastball with a little bit of run away, about 91, 92 miles an hour, right by Mark Teixeira. And again, just like Ellsbury, he saw it all. He saw the slider, he saw the changeup, and finally that good fastball.
So 2 down. Gardner remains at second base and bring up Brian McCann, who's looking for his first hit in the series. He's 0 for 4. And he takes a pitch, and it is a called strike. Now, Kyle Gibson with a record of 8-7. It's very interesting. His career record is 23-23, and this is the 11th time, as we look at the numbers for McCann there, and with runners in scoring position, the 11th time in Gibson's career, his career record's been 500. A look back at Gardner. He dives back, nothing happening. Gibson has never been more than 1 game over 500 in his career. He's never been more than 3 games under. So the tag 50-50 might work with him. That's off the corner, and it's a ball and a strike on McCann.
Well, the one thing the Twins have to be pleased about with Gibson here in the first inning, when he's missing, he's not missing by much, just off the corner away to the lefty hitting Brian McCann with that good sink.
McCann hits it on the ground, and it's Dozier who is playing short right field. He's going to throw McCann out. The Yankees pick up a hit, doubled by Gardner, but nothing else here at the top of the first. The Twins are coming to the plate. Dozier, followed by the veteran Torrey Hunter's had himself a good series. Joe Mauer back in the lineup. He'll be at first base. The DH is Miguel Sano. He'll clean up. Trevor Plouffe will be at third. Eddie Rosario will be in left field. Eduardo Nunez, former Yankee, playing shortstop today. Kurt Suzuki doing the catching. And batting ninth and playing center field is Aaron Hicks.
Well, that lineup for the Minnesota Twins going to face right-hander Nathan Eovaldi, finishing up his warm-up tosses. Look at his numbers on the year. This will be his 20th game, 9-2. The ERA hanging around 4.43. And we'll look at our pitcher scouting report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealers. Done a great job keeping the baseball in the park. 1 home run per 13 innings. It's the lowest rate among Yankee starters, and pounding the strike zone lately with strike one 67% of the time his last 2 outings. And he wants his teammates to keep swinging it. They've given him over 7 runs per game, which is 3rd highest in Major League Baseball for run support for Eovaldi.
Of course, Eovaldi, as Yankee fans have come to know, has one of the best fastballs in the game. In fact, Fangraphs would tell you he's got the fastest one in the league on average for starting pitchers, just over 96 miles per hour. And he'll be facing off with Brian Dozier, the second baseman, who is 2 for 8 in this series against the Yankees. One of the 2 hits was a home run, his 21st of the season. He's got more than any second baseman in the league. First pitch is a little bit low for ball 1.
We're going to look at our Chrysler hitting scouting report on Brian Dozier, and he's not your typical leadoff guy with the 21 bombs, 55 RBIs, and the Twins are 14-6 when he homers. And not bad company to keep when you hit an all-star bomb. Kirby Puckett and Harmon Killebrew, the other Minnesota Twins who have hit home runs in the all-star games, a pretty good company there.
Couple Hall of Famers. Swing and a miss. And it's 2 balls and a strike. Evaldi, as the season has moved along, has developed his split finger fastball. His breaking ball has been better. And he will follow the lead of Brian McCann for the most part today. Doesn't shake him off very often. 2-1 pitch is fouled back to the screen. 97 miles an hour with the fastball.
Yeah, the final piece of the puzzle for Evaldi is getting deeper into some of these ball games. We'll see if Brian McCann can guide him through. He's starting to figure out the pitch selection and sequencing, throwing more breaking balls early and surprising hitters with the fastball late. Now the final piece is getting deeper into ball games.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. He blew it right on by him. 99 miles an hour. Well, we talked to Brian McCann. He had a chance to talk about his pitcher today and the development of his split finger fastball.
He's getting on top of it more. It's more of a true split, and I think it was kind of like a fork ball before. So he's getting good depth on that. It helps out his fastball.
Well, that's McCann on his pitcher as Torrey Hunter steps in, takes a breaking ball in there for a call strike. Hunter's had himself a good series. He's had a couple of home runs. Now has 347 in his career, which started right here in Minnesota. There's a swing and a miss, and it's 0-2.
And there's that split, Kenny, 89 miles an hour.
That's pretty hard for a split, isn't it? He's thrown a few of them at 90 this year. So foul tipped, and McCann holds it. Strike 3. So 3 pitches, and Torrey Hunter's headed back to the dugout.
Yeah, you strike out the first 2 batters, and you start thinking this might be Evaldi's day. We just talked or listened to Brian McCann talk about the split. There's the grip on it. Great look at that. Torrey Hunter completely fooled, way out in front. Looks like a fastball dives out of the strike zone. A great start for Evaldi.
That one had quite a bit of depth to it. So 2 up, 2 down, and here is Joe Mauer. It's Twins first baseman, and he'll take a pitch just off the corner for ball 1. Mauer came into the ball game late last night. His numbers against Yankee starter CC Sabathia were not very good, so it was an opportunity for manager Paul Molitor to give Mauer some rest. The 1-0 pitch, and it's lined to the left field for a base hit. So Mauer has the first hit by the Minnesota Twin in this ball game, and he's on with 2 outs. While we have a chance, let's check out the Yankees on defense. That 2 is presented by Geico. We saw Gardner in left field. He has Ellsbury just to his left, and then Beltran in right field. Headley, Gregorius, Drew, and Jones in the infield. McCann doing the catching for Nathan Evaldi. So with 2 outs and a man on, it'll bring up the rookie Miguel Sano. Had a home run in the first game of this series, his 3rd of the year. And a lot of home runs in this series, 10 total by both clubs. This pitch is low for a ball to Sano. And Hunter's had a couple. Of course, A-Rod had 3 in last night's ball game. Sano fouls it at the plate, and it's a ball and a strike. The Twins kind of knew that Sano, they thought he was a top prospect, but right away they kind of knew he was going to be able to contribute to the ball club. Started his major league career with a 7-game hitting streak. That's the way to break out. He began the season at Chattanooga, that's Double-A, and he drove in 48 runs in 66 games. The nickname of the Chattanooga ball club is the Lookouts. They're one of my favorite teams. The 1-1 pitch, and that is low, ball 2, 2-1. Some people would tell you he jumped right on that choo-choo and it stopped in Minnesota, right here in Minneapolis. The 2-1 pitch, and it's swung on and missed. A good breaking ball. Evaldi mixing his pitchers much better than he did at the beginning of the year.
And if you think to the first game of the series, Sano hit a home run on a slider just like this, and he went straight back through the middle, hit it to center field. There pulls off a little bit. I think a little respect for that fastball, and he got the slider.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. So Mauer has a hit, but Eovaldi has 3 strikeouts here in the first inning. No score as we head to the second. Yankees, and here's how our conversation goes this afternoon. Among the players entering the Hall of Fame today, who do you think was the most dominant in their prime and why? And here's our answer at Brendan X99. Randy Johnson. He was straight filth during his prime. Unhittable and plain scary. Follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag #YankeesPrius to keep the conversation going. And there are the members who are getting the call to the Hall this afternoon. Biggio, Johnson, Martinez, and Smoltz. Kyle Gibson working here in the second inning to Carlos Beltran. And Beltran hits one well to the gap at right center field. On the move is Hunter, and he can't get it. The ball goes to the wall, and Beltran is in the second with a stand-up double. Second two-base hit of the game for the Yankees.
Well, Torrey Hunter, a Gold Glove center fielder in his prime. 40 years old, just a step late on this. He lays out, not able to come up with it. Carlos Beltran going to cruise into second base with a stand-up double. Great bid. Nothing to show for it.
You kind of feel back in the prime that might have been a play that was made by Torrey Hunter. He's checking out his left elbow. It looked like he landed on it. Speaking of our Toyota conversation, Flash, you caught Randy Johnson quite a bit when he was with the Yankees. In fact, I looked at the numbers, and you were outstanding. During that year, in 2005, you caught him, and he was 12-2 when he was your battery mate. Now, I know you got the inside stuff on that.
You know what, Kenny? I think back to how that whole situation evolved, and we're in the clubhouse in St. Louis, and Joe Girardi, who was then the bench coach for Joe Torre, came up to me and said, you know, Joe wants to know if you would be willing to be Randy's personal catcher. And I said, whatever you guys want. And basically the message was from Joe Torre, we want you to yell and scream at him for 9 innings or however long he's in the game to try to get him going, because Jorge and Randy didn't have a good relationship right at the beginning. And the first thing I did was I went to Jorge Posada and I said, listen, I don't want this to come between you and I. We had a great relationship for 3 years.
Okay.
And you know Jorge. His answer was typical Jorge. I don't care about not catching him. I want him to start throwing better so we can win some games.
Well, okay.
And so that's basically how the whole situation evolved, and I took that to heart. I yelled and screamed at Randy Johnson for, what was it, 12-2 record coming down the stretch, and things got a little better until the playoffs.
That pitch is in there for a call, strike at 3. Let's take a look back.
Well, this is a perfect example, Kenny. Fly ball to right field, can of corn, right? Shouldn't be an issue. Well, here we go.
And I bet you won that game too, huh?
We did beat the Pittsburgh Pirates. There are no pleasantries going on right there, and I haven't gotten a Christmas card from Randy in a long time.
Ball's hit hard but foul off the bat of Garrett Jones. You know what there? I noticed you didn't take your mask off. Did you wear it for protection?
I wore that so that the Yes Network cameras couldn't actually read my lips on what I was saying.
I got you.
I thought the greatest strategic move right there was getting on top of the mound. So we were standing eye to eye.
You know what? You were thinking TV well ahead of your time.
Now, the one thing I will say, and I took the bus over with Robbie Cucuzza, the great clubhouse guy for the Yankees, and we were talking about Randy going into the Hall of Fame today. And Randy has really loosened up a little bit when you hear his interviews and the press conferences. So I'm actually very interested to hear his speech today later on when we get to Texas and get to the hotel. And, you know, I'm wondering maybe if he's going to give a little thank you in there to me. Kenny, what do you think? I didn't get an invitation to go to Cooperstown, so I doubt I'm going to get that.
You know what? Cooperstown is in our viewing area. If he saw that highlight, you're not getting anything. 3-2 pitch is hit high in the air, fairly deep right field. Hunter going back. He's near the warning track. Now comes in, makes the catch. Beltran tagging at second. He's headed for third. Here's the throw, and he is in there. So Garrett Jones hits it deep enough to get Beltran over the third base with one out.
I'll tell you what, Torrey Hunter, we talked about a Gold Glove center fielder back in his prime. But watch him get behind this ball and has all his momentum moving towards third base. And Kenny, you could talk better about this than me. But that is just textbook right there, getting off a strong throw. It's offline. But if you're a young outfielder, that's how you do it.
He did put pressure on Beltran to get down into third and slide in. The Twins are going to bring the infield in with one out. And Beltran at third base. Torrey Hunter's got all the moves. You don't win 9 Gold Gloves, or 9 in a row to be exact. They just don't hand those things out like candy. Here's Headley, who drove in a run last night. Chance to put the Yankees ahead here. He takes a pitch outside for ball 1. By the way, the numbers with John Flaherty and Randy Johnson. Johnson was 12-2 with the Yankees that year, with Flaherty catching 3.29 ERA. With Jorge Posada, he was 5-6 with a 4.55 in 13 games. He got the job done, Flash. Pitch is hit on the ground slowly to Mauer. Beltran cannot advance. And Headley does not get the job done. And now there's 2 down.
You know, Kenny, one final point on this Randy Johnson and my relationship with him. I would almost have to talk myself into like a different type of role every time I caught him. You know me. I don't like to get angry. I'm not a mean person. And Joe Torre would actually almost coach me on, you have to be a Broadway actor. How bad do you want a World Series ring? And you have to put yourself in another mode every 5th day to get this guy going, and it seemed to work out.
All right. Here's Didi Gregorius. And the first pitch to the Yankees shortstop is swung on and missed for strike 1. Here's Randy Johnson's career resume. Now we'll catch up with the others who are going into the Hall of Fame. 22 seasons, 5-time Cy Young Award winner, and 10-time All-Star, second all-time to Nolan Ryan in strikeouts, a no-hitter, and also a perfect game, and a world champion. The Yankee fans remember that in 2001. Swung on a miss by Gregorius again, and it's 0-2. Now, I had seen Randy Johnson before he really became Randy Johnson. He was with the Expos. Yeah, I was doing Expos games, and he was kind of all over the place in those days. The 0-2 pitch, and it's high and inside. They used to call that chin music back in the day.
Well, this will get your attention a little bit, too. If you're Gregorius, you're out over the plate looking for that sinker, and then he stands you up with a 4-seamer. And that's what we've heard about Gibson. He's sinker, and then all of a sudden he'll surprise you with a 4-seamer up, changing some eye level.
1-2 pitch, check swing. The slider breaks inside. It's 2-2. Gregorius didn't play last night. He was 2 for 4 in the first game of the series. Beltran at third with 2 outs. Ball 3. Count goes from 0-2 to 3-2.
Give Didi Gregorius a little bit of credit there. 2 sliders down and in, exactly what Gibson is trying to do. Didi showing some good patience, working the count full.
Didi going with the shades today. That type of afternoon here in Minneapolis. Here's the payoff pitch. And he checks swings. It got away from the catcher, Suzuki. Beltran's going to score. They said he swung at the throw to first is in time for the out. The check swing, it goes around too far. Suzuki completes the strikeout by throwing to first base, and the Yankees do not score. If it's a check swing, the ball gets away. Beltran would have scored. Instead, he goes around too far. So at the end of 1.5, it's still no score here in Minnesota. Do with the Twins All-Star and former MVP Joe Mauer. Notable injury since 2009, back injury, missed the first 22 games. 2010, heel, knee and shoulder, leg, neck, pneumonia, thumb, quad, back, concussion, back, oblique, and elbow. And he's played less than 140 games in 5 of the last 6 seasons. That'll keep the people at Montefiore busy. Here's Trevor Plouffe. And he'll take the first pitch from Eovaldi in there for a call strike. Bottom of the second inning, no score. The winner of this ball game wins the series 2 out of 3. Eovaldi looking for his 10th win of the season. Ball's hit high in the air, hit well to right center field. Ellsbury going back at the warning track, reaches out and crashes into the wall, but he has the baseball. Jacoby Ellsbury showing off the wheels and the glove, and that's out number 1.
Well, immediately I thought back to last night, John Ryan Murphy and his home run that kept carrying, and the same thing here with Plouffe. Ellsbury, a great play, actually had a little more room than he thought. Eventually ends up crashing into the wall, the flip over the shoulder. Great play. See right there, he thinks the wall is a little bit closer than it actually is. Good news for Yankees. Yankee fans, looks like he's healthy.
And those walls are now padded. And you can see Eovaldi's reaction. Every pitcher appreciates the defense. Nice curveball drops in on Eddie Rosario for strike 1. Now, Flash, I know you don't remember this, but it used to be days that the outfield walls were not padded. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2 on Rosario. Of course, I remember those days.
Still have some aches and.
Well, it's you know, I was quite aware of where the wall was. But when outfielders started making really big money, the walls began to be padded all throughout baseball. With the lone exception, Wrigley Field in the Ivy. The 0-2 pitch, swung on it, missed, strike 3. Didn't take long to set down Rosario, and that is the 4th strikeout for Nathan Eovaldi. All 4 of them swinging.
You can't get off to much of a better start than Eovaldi has gotten off to this afternoon. The fastball pretty much right down Broadway. Here you go. right by him. We talked about it early on. The next step for Eovaldi, getting deeper into ball games. Only 20 pitches with 2 outs in the second. See if he can keep it going.
Here's former Yankee Eduardo Nunez. He gets to start at shortstop today. And the first pitch just misses the outside corner for ball 1. Nunez has not made an appearance in the first 2 games of this series. We were kind of joking before the game. You know, Nunez, kind of a helter-skelter type of play. He'd come out today like he's shot out of a cannon. That pitch is in there for a strike, and it's 1-1. Yankee fans, of course, remember anytime he ran the bases, his helmet would never end up at the base he reached. It would always fly off of his head. The 1-1 pitch, and that's outside, ball 2, 2-1. Nunez, when he came to the Yankees, was somewhat of an unfinished product. And I remember at the time, Yankee infield coach was Mick Kelleher, and they worked hour after hour of smoothing out Nunez's defensive game. 2-1 pitch, and it's fouled at the plate, 2-2. Eduardo Nunez used to be, when you saw Robinson Cano, Nunez was right there as well. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and nobody on. Eovaldi looking for strikeout number 5. He's not going to get it. Hot shot. Great stop by Headley. The throw is in time. Well, we saw a great play in center field, and we saw a tremendous play at third base to end the inning. No score at the end of 2 here in Minnesota. What a play by Headley.
True HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices with MLB.TV Premium. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking, and more. Every night on every device. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Gibson back to work, top of the third. It'll be 9-1-2 for the Yankees. Stephen Drew, Jacoby Ellsbury, Brett Gardner. Drew has played every game of the series here in Minnesota. Had a base hit last night. We're scoreless on our Audi A3.
Yeah, Drew's had 3 hits in this series, and if there's one team that he's hit pretty well over the years, it's been these Minnesota Twins. He's played 17 games in his career against Minnesota, and he's hitting .333.
Well, we've seen this in this series against Minnesota. The Twins will shift with 2 strikes. Trevor Plouffe, the third baseman, now on the right side of second base. Oof, spoils another tough pitch. Kyle Gibson has worked his way out of trouble here in 2 innings. Couple of doubles for the Yankees, one by Brett Gardner, one by Carlos Beltran. Gibson does a great job with runners in scoring position. Batting average coming in against him in those situations 188. It's gotten a little bit better early on in this one.
Trying to get Drew to chase that one. One thing I've noticed about Drew, just around the All-Star break, he altered his stance just a little. He opened up the front foot. Maybe give himself a little better look at the pitcher. He used to have more of a closed stance. And I asked hitting coach Jeff Pentland about it, and he said, yeah, that's what he's done. And right now he's headed to first base. He gets hit by the pitch here, I believe. It's that low and in slider. Gets him on the left foot. So once again, for second consecutive inning, the Yankees have leadoff man on.
Let's see if they can get something going against Kyle Gibson. Drew trying to shake it off over there at first base. Looks like he's uncomfortable. Tony Pena talking to him now, ready to go. Ellsbury struck out his first at bat. Made a nice defensive play in center field, cruising into right center field, make a running leaping grab. I mentioned it in our pitcher scouting report. Gibson gets a lot of ground balls, a lot of double plays. Ellsbury a tough one to double up.
Starts him with that sinker and misses outside for a ball. What he's trying to do is make it look good. You roll over on it, hit a grounder to second, or maybe even the short. Let the infielders do their jobs.
Drew with a modest lead. Ellsbury does hit a ground ball. Dozier, a nice play over to Nunez. Not going to be able to double him up. A nice play by the all-star second baseman, getting the force out at second.
Gets the lead runner. Off balance throw by Dozier's right on the money to Nunez. This is a tough play. Infielders a bunch towards the bag at second on the double play, so they get rid of it quickly over the second, but Nunez cannot complete the double play. Ellsbury too fast. Yeah, they give up the holes when they're trying to turn a double play in the infield. Good play by Dozier to get things started. We'll take a look at this one on Yesmo, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. An off-balance throw, but it's very accurate right there for Nunez to try and turn it over.
One down will bring up Brett Gardner. Had a double his first at bat. Gibson's going to pay attention to Ellsbury. Ellsbury has not had a stolen base in 15 consecutive games. Seems like an eternity for him. 14 on the year, has been thrown out 6 times.
I think that's the final piece of the puzzle since he's come back from the disabled list and then knee sprain. If he starts to feel really good, you'll start seeing him taking chances on the bases. And this with 2 down would be make that 1 out would be a good opportunity here for the Yankees to get something going. These are the table setters, Ellsbury and Gardner, right at the top of the order.
Oh, Kenny, I was just thinking that you don't see the hit and run very often anymore, but this might not be a bad situation. Gibson gets a lot of ground balls, usually around the plate. Gets some speed on the bases, speed at home plate. .44 pitches for Gibson already. Minnesota Twins playing it pretty straight up defensively. Middle infielders playing a double play depth.
Now that comes from Gardner's ability to hit the ball all over the field with authority.
Brett Gardner had the first hit of the ball game, a double in the first inning, got ahead in the count 3-1. This at bat a little different story, 1-2 behind in the count. Trying to battle and fight off some tough pitches. Another throw over to first.
I'm sure Gibson remembers last year. He pitched against the Yankees right here at the Target Field on July 4th, and he lost the ball game. The Yankees got the fireworks celebration started early that day. Gibson lasted just 2 innings, 6 hits, 6 runs.
And the numbers not good. 3 starts against the Yankees. The ERA over 10. But having a very solid year and a great first half. Be 1-2 to Brett Gardner. Ellsbury not running. Gardner ground ball to Plouffe. Over to Dozier. Not going to be able to get a throw off.
It would have been tough to double up Gardner. Almost as tough, or maybe even tougher than it was to double up Ellsbury. Nice play by Plouffe at third base. That ball was hit pretty hard, and he stayed with it. Kept the glove down. Ball's hit on the line. One hopper, stays down with it. Dozier covering, can't get the ball out of the glove, and then there's no chance. I don't think he would have gotten Gardner anyway. So now the Yankees have a runner at first in 2 outs.
With 2 down, I'll bring up Mark Teixeira, who struck out his first at bat. Mark DHing today, getting a half a day off. The Twins shifting against Mark Teixeira like pretty much every other team in baseball does against him. I mentioned Ellsbury has not stolen a base in 15 games. Brett Gardner hasn't really run a whole lot lately either.
You know, some of that might be due to the fact that A-Rod Teixeira are going deep. You know, why take a chance of being thrown out? A-Rod has 17 hits this month. 8 of them are home runs.
3 of those home runs last night, and he's in the dugout enjoying this game with a day off. Mark Teixeira in a good count right here, 2-0. Hunting that fastball. Wild pitch will find the backstop. Brett Gardner will cruise into second base.
Well, with this wild pitch moving Brett Gardner to second, the count runs to 3-0 on Teixeira. It might be interesting to see if Joe Girardi will turn him loose 3-0 with a runner in scoring position. If you're Gibson, you got to be thinking that way. I mean, you have one of the top run producers in the league at the plate.
If you're Kurt Suzuki behind the plate, you're thinking first base is open. You don't have to give in right here. They come right at Mark with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
That was kind of a way. That's not the one you really want to swing at 3-1.
Brian McCann waiting on deck.
Or 3-0, I should say. See the tailing action on it? That clipped the outside corner. You want something towards the middle. Still, Teixeira's ahead on the count.
It'll be a 3-1 from Gibson. This ball hit to right field. Mark underneath it. Torrey Hunter doesn't even have to move. An easy play for him. So Gibson has been in trouble the first 3 innings. Been able to work his way out of that jam. We're scoreless here in Minnesota. first 18,000 guests in attendance will receive a Yankees umbrella courtesy of Living Language. For tickets, log on to Yankees.com, visit the Yankee Stadium ticket window, Yankees Clubhouse shops, or call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849.
I always carry an umbrella, always an umbrella in the car. You know that? Except one night I went out with my wife. We went out to dinner. And while we were in the restaurant, it started raining. Where was the umbrella? It was in the car. Yeah. Doing us no good at all.
Well, you have to work that Yankee game then against the Red Sox. Get yourself another umbrella. On our Audi A3 scoreboard, we're scoreless here in Minnesota. Nathan Eovaldi back out for the bottom of the third. He's been good early on. Struck out 4 already. First pitch breaking ball for a strike to Kurt Suzuki. Suzuki batting .370 in his last 13 games at home here at Target Field. I guess we shouldn't be surprised, Kenny, catching a day game after a night game. This guy seems to play every day.
Well, he did it while he was with the Oakland A's, and before they shipped him off to Washington. Maybe he writes his own name in the lineup before he leaves the night before.
Suzuki, an all-star last year, not having that same type of season this year. Over a 300 hitter against the New York Yankees in 45 games, .317 batting average. 1-2 to Eovaldi. It's going to be right back to the mound. Easy play. One down here in the third. Well, a big day up in Cooperstown with the Hall of Fame. Pedro Martinez, 18 Major League seasons, Cy Young's, 8-time All-Star, 2004 World Champion with the Red Sox. And you know what, Kenny, you don't see on that resume, he never threw a no-hitter.
I bet you threw a bunch of one-hitters on.
I know he threw a one-hitter against Tampa Bay, and I was responsible for that one hit in the 9th inning. Take that, Pedro.
I remember Pedro in Montreal, and you could see him develop into one of the top pitchers. And of course, with the Expos in those days, when a player got to a certain time of his career and he'd become a free agent, they knew they couldn't keep him. They couldn't afford him, so he was traded to the Boston Red Sox.
Aaron Hicks right back up the middle. Gregorius can't handle it. We'll wait to see how they score that one. Kenny, we had our question, who is the nastiest of the Hall of Famers going in? I'll tell you what, facing Randy Johnson was tough. Facing Pedro Martinez was another level, because you always had that thought in the back of your mind that there was a chance he was going to come up and in and drill you. Always had you on your heels a little bit. Looks like that was scored a base hit for Hicks.
Well, the two pitchers with the highest strikeout rates in their career against the Yankees, Randy Johnson and Pedro Martinez. Randy Johnson, 9.2 strikeouts per 9 innings against the Yankees, and Pedro is a little bit better, 10.8 strikeouts per 9 innings. There are going to be a bunch of guys walking back to the dugout anytime they pitch.
Back to the top of the lineup, Brian Dozier struck out his first at bat. Well, I mentioned this last night, or maybe the first game of the series. The most at bats I had in my career against Pedro Martinez. So I just wanted to thank Joe Torre, Larry Rothschild, Hal McRae.
Against any pitcher?
Any pitcher. Wow. And when I came to the Yankees, Jorge Posada did not have good numbers at all against Pedro. So Joe Torre did me a favor and threw me out there every time he pitched. I appreciate that, Skip.
Well, of course, you had confidence in your defensive ability, chance to call a game. Hicks does have 8 stolen bases in 11 attempts, so he is a definite threat over there at first base. And his first base coach, Butch Davis, leaning in. He's probably giving him the times on Eovaldi to the plate. Now remember, Eovaldi's got a great pickoff move. He's got the most pickoffs of any right-handed pitcher in the league. He's picked off 4 runners at first base.
You know what, Kenny, and you combine that with Brian McCann behind the plate, who's probably throwing the ball as good as he has his entire career. And And I actually talked to Brian about that today. He gives a ton of credit to Gary Tuck, who's the bullpen coach and the catching instructor, and basically told me that Gary Tuck has changed his career throwing wise, because Brian always thought I'd be a 25% throwing percentage guy and that would be fine, and Gary's kind of challenged him to get to that next level, and the numbers are off the charts.
Was he up around 40%? Yeah.
And I actually had a conversation with Gary Tuck watching in the bullpen for the Yankees, but I noticed yesterday Brian McCann went out and played long toss with John Ryan Murphy before the game, which is incredibly unusual for an everyday catcher to do that with his backup. And Brian told me that he does it because Gary Tuck encouraged him to keep throwing even on the days when you don't play, to keep your arm strength, make sure everything feels right for the days that you do play, and it's paid off. Might have a situation here. He can show off that gun. A 3-1 count. Hicks at first base, can run.
Yeah, I was going to say this would be a good chance for the Twins to try and get something going here in this 0-0 ball game.
Hicks not running. Dozier, a ground ball just out of the reach of Gregorius. Hicks around second base. He's going to go to third. He'll be in there safely, and Dozier to second, and not a great play by Jacoby Ellsbury.
Well, first of all, Hicks showing off his speed, going first to third and drawing the throw from Ellsbury, which allows Dozier to come in the back door and get into second base. There's Hicks. He's selling out. He's going third. And you can see Headley trying to pick off Dozier at second, and that throw is late. As Flash said, you're trying to keep the double play in play, and you lose that opportunity with Dozier moving to second base.
Well, it's heads up base running by Dozier, but not the smartest play by Ellsbury. Would have had to been a perfect throw to third base. And Nathan Eovaldi, who's had it pretty easy for 2 innings, going to have to work his way out of trouble here. Second and third, 1 out. Torrey Hunter up at the plate. Hunter struck out his first at bat, and the Yankees defense playing back. They will concede the run.
Yeah, I think back to my days of playing the outfield, and there's a Hall of Fame manager. He's passed away since, Earl Weaver. But man, he would scream at you if you come back to the dugout and you've done something like that. He'd always keep the double play in order. That's not exactly the way he would say it.
Yeah, the physical mistakes you can put up with, it's the mental mistakes that'll drive a manager crazy.
He'd wait for you on the top step too when he came back after the inning was over.
Long run in from right field, knowing he's there. Torrey Hunter with his 53 RBIs, 16 home runs. Swung the bat well the 2 games against the Yankees. This ball hit hard right at Headley. Can't come up with it. The Twins will get on the board as Aaron Hicks scores.
Well, with the ball glancing off Headley's glove, it looked like Hicks took off when the ball was hit. Headley would have had a play at the plate. You can see his reaction. He's not very happy with this effort. He would have had a play. The ball was hit that hard. In fact, hit hard enough that Gregorius on the rebound could make the throw and get Torrey Hunter out at first base. So the Yankees do pick up an out, but the Twins pick up a run. Yeah, he would have had plenty of time to get Hicks. Hicks had decided he was headed home.
They give Torrey Hunter his 54th RBI of the year, and with 2 down, will bring up Joe Mauer. Had the night off against CC Sabathia last night. He had picked up a base hit his first at bat. A typical Joe Mauer single to left field. Think of Joe Mauer, you think past batting champion, sprays the ball around all over the field.
We had that video in the opening game of Joe Mauer from his high school over in St. Paul. All around athlete. Played the 3 major sports. And around here, there's 4 major. He must have played a little hockey too. There's the basketball. Will we show it if he did make it?
Same swing right there, Kenny.
Yeah, same one. Drops it in. Oh.
Same speed, too. Well, that's the thing that's incredible when you think about it. How much success Joe Mauer has had with batting average. He really can't run a lick. Not getting too many infield singles, so you know it's a legitimate 330, 340.
Well, he's had some knee problems over the years.
Be a 2-1 from Eovaldi. Fought off the other way. Ellsbury coming in, and he makes a play. Nice diving catch by Jacoby Ellsbury. Going to save a run. The Minnesota Twins take the lead. An RBI ground ball by Torrey Hunter. An outstanding play in center field by Jacoby Ellsbury, maybe making up for a little mental mistake early on. Yes, Data Strong fan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Top of the 4th inning. Kyle Gibson with a 1-0 lead now, facing Brian McCann, Carlos Beltran, and Garrett Jones. On our Lincoln scoreboard, Twins lead 1-0. McCann, a ground ball to second base, his first at bat, and he takes strike 1. Gibson with 53 pitches. This ball hit hard to center field. Hicks going back, be able to make the play. 1 down here in the 4th. One down to bring up Carlos Beltran. Had a leadoff double in the 2nd, but was stranded.
Yeah, that was the Yankees' best scoring opportunity. He got as far as third base with 1 out, but the Yankees didn't come through.
Gibson with another first pitch strike. Well, we were told by some of the people around the Twins that you could tell pretty early on with Kyle Gibson if he was going to have his good stuff. He's gotten off to a good start this afternoon, and an easy fly ball. All-star second baseman Brian Dozier, 2 quick outs for Gibson.
Yeah, they said if he was off the plate or couldn't locate his fastball, which he's been able to do so far, and get hitters to chase the slider. And he's been able to do that on occasion as well. And he's jumped ahead of hitters. Now Garrett Jones, first time up, kind of just missed it. Hit one fairly deep right field that Hunter caught. Jones getting an opportunity to play today. He hadn't played in 6 games.
Joe Girardi giving Mark Teixeira the DH job today. Alex Rodriguez gets the afternoon off, and Jones playing first base. And again, he's behind in the count. Gibson pounding the strike zone early.
When I was going over Gibson's stats, and there's one thing, and remember, he's a former #1 draft pick, and that means he probably got a sizable bonus from the Minnesota Twins, and they like these guys to develop into, star pitchers. He's a pretty good pitcher. I wouldn't put him in the star category yet, but one thing he's got to do much better. He's got to pitch better against the better teams. He's got a winning record against losing teams, but he's got a losing record against winning teams. And to become a true ace, you got to be able to beat everybody.
Well, his last start, he got roughed up by the Angels. 5 innings, 6 earned runs in that start, bumped his ERA over 3.
6-2 against the losing teams, but just 2-5 against the winning teams. So he's got another level to step up to.
Well, the Yankees hoping that trend continues, trying to get a win here today, pick up a series win, move on to Texas, continue this long road trip. As Jones hits a fly ball to right field. Torrey Hunter coming in, so an easy 1-2-3 inning for Kyle Gibson. Twins have given him a 1-0 lead, only giving up 2 hits. Lone Star State for a showdown with the powerful Prince Fielder and the Texas Rangers. Complete coverage starts at 7:30 with the Tri-State Ford pregame, only on Yes. Nice and chilly in Arlington, Texas, about 100 degrees. Yankees will have 4 games there before moving on to Chicago. On our Lincoln scoreboard, the Twins lead 1-0. Miguel Sano leading off. He was a strikeout victim to end the first inning. Eovaldi struck out 3 in the first, 1 in the second, has 4 for the afternoon. Sano, a ground ball to Gregorius. He comes up with it. Strong throw. 1 quick out. Again, we mentioned Hall of Fame induction ceremony today. John Smoltz going in, 21 seasons. 1996 Cy Young, 8-time All-Star, 1995 World Champion. Pitcher in Major League history, 200 wins, 150 saves. I think back to him, Kenny. You go into Atlanta to play and you face Glavine, who lulls you to sleep with the changeup, Maddox, who lulls you to sleep with the sinker and the movement, and then all of a sudden you get John Smoltz, who just overpowers you with his stuff.
Of course, Smoltz beat the Yankees in the first game of the World Series in 1996. Of course, the Yankees rallied to win that World Series. And that was the start of a great run for the Yankees through late 90s and early 2000s. Under Joe Torre.
When you think of John Smoltz, I mean, automatically I thought of Maddox and Glavine going along with him, and they went in last year. Smoltz a year later. Big three in Atlanta for a long time.
And they always had, you know, a great staff, and there was a pitcher maybe not quite to their level, but they had some pitchers like Steve Avery over there, very good pitcher. Kent Merker, who also rounded out those staffs in Atlanta.
Trevor Plouffe, another ground ball to Gregorius. Another easy play, 2 down.
Don't want to forget Kevin Millwood, innings eater, type right-hander. One thing both these pitchers do, they get a lot of ground ball outs. Eovaldi wants himself a new baseball. That might have caught a pebble or something. Although the fields nowadays, they are so well groomed, you very rarely see a bad hop. Very rarely hear announcers say a bad hop single.
Yeah, you got that right.
Yeah.
2 quick outs. Eddie Rosario up at the plate. He struck out his first at bat. Takes a split for ball 1. Yankees shifting Rosario to pull in the infield, and he doesn't pull. He flips one the other way. Be an easy play for Brett Gardner and an easy 1-2-3 inning for Nathan Eovaldi. Couple of ground balls fly out to Brett Gardner. Yankees trail 1-0.
For the 5th inning, Yankees are down by a score of 1-0. You're looking at Kyle Gibson there. He'll face the bottom third of the Yankee order. It'll be Headley, Gregorius, and Drew for the Yankees. Gibson, 8 of 15 first pitch strikes. He went 3 for 3 last inning. Our Big Low T scoreboard. There it is. Twins leading 1-0. And as Ryan just updated us on the Johnny Cueto going to the Kansas City Royals. And the first pitch to Headley's in there for a call strike. And John, was it yesterday when he pitched? He won the game for the Cincinnati Reds, but there was some sort of miscommunication before the ball game.
Yeah, I heard something that they told him he was going to be traded, or a trade had gone through, and that he wasn't going to be pitching. And then they said, oh, never mind, the physicals haven't been approved yet, so you are pitching. And he went out there and won again.
Now, this was 10 minutes before you're supposed to go out there and warm up.
The Royals get the deal done, and they get another big pitcher.
Yeah, they're thinking playoffs. They've got a 6.5 game lead in the Central Division. Pitches line foul off the bat of Headley. And the count is 0-2. That makes you wonder what the Twins are thinking. They're the ones trying to chase down the Royals in the Central. There's a look at the standings. The Tigers a game below 500, followed by the White Sox and then the Indians.
Like it's going to be a busy week, Kenny.
That pitch is low. Kind of get the feeling if Paul Molitor was not managing the Minnesota Twins, he'd be in Cooperstown today. A Hall of Famer up there for the ceremonies, the inductions of the 4 inductees. We've already mentioned 3. We've got 1 more to go. Pitch to Headley's hit high and deep to right field. This one is gone, and it's a tie ball game. Chase Headley turns on one. And for Headley, his 9th home run of the year, and that was a no-doubter. That was out into the concourse.
Kenny, weren't you mentioning that he was swinging the bat better and the average was improving, but the power was kind of sagging behind a little bit? Well, not anymore. Dropped the hands, dropped the bat head. 9th home run of the year. We're all tied up here in Minnesota.
Yeah, as of yesterday, he was hitting .333 in the month, but this is his first home run of the month. Here's Gregorius. The Yankees shortstop was a strikeout victim in the 2nd inning. Takes first pitch for a call strike. So maybe Headley thinking, well, I let that run score on that ground ball to third. I got to get something back here.
I'm trying to figure out what's going on. You come to Minnesota, your Target Field is a big ballpark. Both of these clubs making it look small this series.
11 home runs now, and this game's not done. 11 home runs thus far in this series. Oh, 2 pitch, a little number towards the right side. Gibson has it, flips to Mauer. Gregorius is retired. I showed you the Central Division standings. Let's go to the East. Manager Joe Girardi, his team with a comeback victory last night. 5.5 game lead over the Blue Jays. The Rays are next, 6.5. The Orioles 7, and the Boston Red Sox 12 games behind. Joe called last night's win maybe the biggest of the season, as the Yankees rallied for 4 runs in the 9th inning to erase the deficit and win 8-5. The Twins had been 44-0 when leading after 8 innings. Now there is a 1 in that loss column.
You know what, Kenny, you think back to last night's win, and obviously a big one with the way they fought back and came from behind, but I think it showed us a little bit about the chemistry of this club by the reactions in the dugout, and specifically I think of CC Sabathia, who was waiting for John Ryan Murphy after he did all his interviews out on the field and all that stuff, and Sabathia came out of the clubhouse to the dugout to congratulate him on that big swing. This is a very, very tight club. And you hear the word chemistry an awful lot. We'll see how far it takes him.
Swing and a miss by Drew. And that is strike 2. Well, the Yankees by far and away have had the best record in the division in the month of July, and that's why they've been able to create some separation from the rest of the pack. Drew hit by a pitch his first time. Low and inside, and the count is leveled at 2 balls and 2 strikes. This is what the Flash is talking about. CC out of the clubhouse to congratulate John Ryan Murphy.
It's so easy for a starting pitcher who, CC didn't have a great game again last night, to just stay up in the clubhouse. And he made the effort to come down to congratulate John Ryan Murphy, and that showed me something. I'm not surprised Sabathia is that type of a teammate, but I think we got to look into how close his team is.
High fly ball, fairly deep left field. Rosario going back step or two in front of the warning track, makes the catch for out number 2. And Meredith Marakovits has more on last night. Meredith.
Well, Kenny, prior to Alex Rodriguez hitting his 3rd home run, CC Sabathia was actually in the clubhouse as Alex Rodriguez was watching video of Perkins, and he was asked, "Are you surprised that Alex hit number 3?" And he said, "No, I knew he was going to be aggressive early based on the video he was watching. I knew he was swinging at that first pitch if it was anywhere close to a strike." So CC Sabathia kind of predicted that Alex Rodriguez may go deep in that at-bat.
Well, about 430 feet later, the Yankees had tied the ball game. Here's Ellsbury, and he swings at the first pitch, tops it, rolls it to second. Dozier has it, throws to first. But the Yankees tie the game here at the top of the 5th. One swing of the bat did the trick. Chase Headley with a long drive to right field, and it's a tie ball game. It's 1-1. Hall of Famer, the 4th, and certainly last here, but not least, 20 Major League seasons for Craig Biggio, 7-time All-Star, 4 Gold Gloves, over 3,000 hits, almost 700 doubles. Eduardo Nunez takes the first pitch for a strike, and the only player in Major League history with 3,000 hits, 600 doubles, 400 stolen bases, and 250 home runs. Quite impressive. Craig Biggio, born in Smithtown, New York, down on the island, and went to Kings Park High School. Congratulations. He's a Hall of Famer. Our Bigelow T scoreboard, it's 1-1. The Yankees and the Twins. As former Yankee Eduardo Nunez swings, hits a topper towards short. Nice Sunday hop for Gregorius, and the throw is just in time. Nunez, as he always did with the Yankees, hustling down the line.
Well, a good split right there from Eovaldi. Gets easy ground ball. There goes the helmet.
This is Nunez from the days gone by, and like we said, his helmet never arrived. When he arrived, well, that's a triple. His helmet had no chance. Good look here at the helmet departing the noggin. We look at it in Yesmo, brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer. You know his favorite band, don't you, Flash? Men Without Hats. Here's a pitch for a call strike to Suzuki. Just makes sense, doesn't it?
You know what? You can laugh about it, but I always appreciated the way he went about his business. You know,
he played hard.
Yes, he did.
He hustled. The 0-1 pitch to Suzuki is way outside for a ball. 1-1. We are tied at 1 here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Kyle Gibson against Nathan Eovaldi, who's really been doing the job for the Yankees of late. Ball hit on the ground. Headley with the hot shot. Knocks it down. Recovers. Throws in time, and that's out number 2. Headley's had some rockets hit his way today.
Yeah, Headley playing the hot corner, and he does exactly what he's supposed to do right here. Just keep it in front. You have Suzuki running. He doesn't run well. Take your time, regroup, make sure you get a good strong throw. You know, Kenny, I'm looking at that pitch count now at 58, 2 outs here in the 5th inning. We talk about Eovaldi taking that next step. This should be the afternoon where he should be getting deeper into a ball game. We'll see if he can continue.
Aaron Hicks has had himself a good series. He's 1 for 1 today and scored the only run. This pitch is hit high in the air to left field. Looks like Eovaldi will have an easy 1, 2, 3 inning as Gardner puts it away. And we're going to move to the 6th inning. We're in a 1-1 ball game. Stay with us, folks. It's a good one. Yankees baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by TriStateGMC.com. By Heineken, open your world. And by Honda. Great deals are on at the Honda Summer Clearance Event. Yeah, it's that time of day here in Minnesota. Enjoy a ball game, have yourself a hot dog, a refreshing drink, and see a ball game. We're into the 6th inning now. It's tied at 1-1. The totals are identical. A run on 3 hits, no errors for both teams. Gardner's going to lead it off for the Yankees, followed by Teixeira and McCann, facing Kyle Gibson here in the 6th. And this ball is lined to the right field, a leadoff single. As Gardner pounces on the first pitch. That's his 2nd hit of the afternoon.
Yeah, we mentioned last night was a good night off for Brett Gardner. He comes back this afternoon a little bit refreshed, couple of hits, swinging the bat well.
He is now 3 for 10 in this series. It's Teixeira steps in. He's 0 for 2. Gardner, of course, with great speed at first. He's not going. The pitch is low for ball 1. 6 of Teixeira's last 7 games have been multi-hit games. That's how hot he's been of late. And 0 for 2 today puts him at 5 for 10 in this series against Minnesota. That pitch is low. Gibson falls behind. 2 balls and no strikes. The shift is on. 3 Twins infielders on the right side of the infield. Ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes. Gibson falls behind. A 3-0 pitch taking all the way, and it's a 4-pitch walk. And immediately here in the 6th, the Yankees have something going. A single followed by a base on balls, and that'll bring up Brian McCann. That is the first walk handed out by Kyle Gibson this afternoon, as the water's getting a little hotter here in the 6th inning.
Paul Molitor looking on. Neil Allen, the pitching coach. Good thing about Gibson, you're 1 pitch away from a double play. Gets a lot of ground balls with that good movement with the fastball.
McCann has grounded to second. He's also flying out to fairly deep center field. Yankees have speed at second base. And the pitch is low for ball 1. So Gibson having trouble locating the strike zone here in the 6th inning. He did for 1 pitch, and it was a base hit. Quickly, this copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the New York Yankees and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. So the conference is over. Suzuki back behind home plate, and McCann looking for something he could drive.
You know, Kenny, you think back to that first pitch ball, and Brian McCann did not even flinch. I don't know if he was taking all the way. I don't think he was, but he saw that ball so early out of Gibson's hand.
Ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. As I said, only 1 pitch has been a strike, and Brett Gardner turned it around for a base hit this inning.
Carlos Beltran waiting on deck. We'll see if Brian McCann, how disciplined he is right here. You know, Gibson wants to go with that sinker down and away, getting a ground ball. Brian McCann hunting something middle in.
Ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes.
There's that take again on the changeup. Did not even flinch. Brian McCann seeing the ball well.
Well, earlier this year, Joe Girardi turned McCann loose on a 3-0 pitch, and he hit it in the seats. I don't think so right here. Maybe let Gibson paint himself into a corner. The 3-0 pitch, he's taken, and that's in there for a called strike. All bets are off now.
Well, we thought 3-0. If you're taken, you're probably going to get a good pitch 3-1. You're still in command. You're still in the driver's seat.
Ball 4. He walked him. A single and a pair of base on balls loads the bases with nobody out for Carlos Beltran. And the Twins bullpen is getting busy. Looks like a left-hander Ryan O'Rourke is warming up in the bullpen as Neil Allen, the pitching coach, is going to come out and try and smooth things over a bit here in the 6th. Meanwhile, the Yankees have loaded the bases with nobody out. Gibson, to this point, had just allowed a run on 3 hits. This is not the way he was performing earlier in the ball game. So here's Beltran, who's had a double and popped out.
I'm sure that conversation with Neil Allen, the pitching coach, was pretty simple. 1 pitch, you can get double play. Beltran does not run well. Settle down, take it pitch to pitch, see if you can work your way out of trouble.
Beltran's double went to the gap in right center field. Back in the 2nd inning. Gibson delivers, and the pitch is popped foul, and this is going to reach the seats for a souvenir. So Gibson jumps ahead on the count. No balls and a strike. Career with the bases loaded. Some pretty good numbers. 308. 11 grand slams for Carlos Beltran. Always felt, Flash, when you're up in these situations, the pitcher's the one in trouble. Just stay calm as a hitter. Get something you can hit hard somewhere. Little chopper, and this is going to roll foul. And all of a sudden, Beltran's in the hole. No balls and 2 strikes.
I'm a little surprised. Carlos swinging at 2 pitches that are borderline strikes out of the zone. You'd watch Mark Teixeira walk, Brian McCann walk, and then you get another look at this pitch. It's off the plate and down. Carlos lucky that he rolled over and ended up in foul territory.
Oh, it won't take too much of a deep fly ball to score Gardner. He's got excellent speed at third base. Got Teixeira at second, McCann at first. A little bit of a different story in those two bases. Good overview. Bases loaded. 0-2 count on Beltran. Swing and a miss, strike three. He got him. Off-speed pitch sends Beltran back to the dugout.
Well, a huge at bat for Gibson right there. He goes with the changeup again. Perfectly located down and away. Beltran swings right over the top. Well, you're one pitch away from getting out of this inning if you're Kyle Gibson.
That's his fourth strikeout of the afternoon. Two fly balls off the bat of Garrett Jones. Both to Torrey Hunter in right field. Ball one just off the corner. Gibson's pitch total up to 89. Yeah, I'm thinking with all the Hall of Famers at Cooperstown, the Hall of Fame pitchers, they're looking at the pitch total saying, what's that? Pitch is fouled off. And it's a ball and a strike. A lot of them work when there's no such thing as a pitch count. You're expected to finish what you started. Count is 1-1 on Garrett Jones. Yankees with a big opportunity here to break a 1-1 tie in the sixth inning. Pitch is lined into right field. This is going to be in there for a base hit. Gardner will score. They're going to hold Teixeira at third as Hunter gets the ball back in, and the Yankees do jump in front by a score 2-1. Garrett Jones with an RBI single.
Garrett Jones picks up Carlos Beltran right there. Struck out the at bat before, and again a bench player coming through for the Yankees. Last night John Ryan Murphy, today Garrett Jones. Nice hard line drive into right field gives the Yankees the lead.
The bases remain loaded, and that'll bring up Chase Headley, who hit one out on a concourse in right field his last time up. It was his 9th home run of the year. He is 1 for 2. Chance for him to do more damage here in the sixth inning. Bases loaded and 1 out. And the first pitch is downstairs for ball 1. Gibson working from the stretch. Ball is fouled off by Headley. Count will level it. A ball and a strike. Of course, the Yankees will leave here tonight. They're headed to Texas. The Twins actually have an off day tomorrow, and then the Pittsburgh Pirates come to town on Tuesday and Wednesday. This will be the 19th pitch coming up of this inning. It's hit hard, and it's a base hit. The Yankees are going to have to share a score. McCann's being waved home as the ball heads to the corner. Headley's going to hold it first, and it's a 2-run single, and the Yankees now lead 4-1. Headley comes through again. First it was a home run. Now it's a 2-run base hit. And the Yankees are still in business here in the sixth inning.
Now, Kenny, you had talked about how hot Headley has been during the month of July. Now he's getting the big hits, the home run, and then a rocket down the right field line is going to score 2, and the Yankees extend their lead 4-1. Production all the way up and down this lineup. We've seen it in this series the last 2 games.
And that's going to be it for Kyle Gibson. He is out of the ball game. It's time for the Verizon call to the bullpen, made by manager Paul Molitor. This most reliable internet. Matt Harrison, the left-hander, goes for the Texas Rangers down in Arlington. 1-1, 5.40. And Ivan Nova, looking for his third win of the year, will go for the Yankees. Coverage begins at 7:30 p.m. on Yes. Well, the left-hander is Ryan O'Rourke. We saw him last night in the ninth inning. He came on to clean up what Glenn Perkins could not do after he blew the save, and the Yankees scored 4 runs. O'Rourke worked 1/3 of an inning. This will be his 7th appearance. There are the numbers on Kyle Gibson, who completely came apart here in the 6th. And Gregorius lays down a bunt. It's a good one. The Yankees are going to get another run. Gregorius is thrown out at first as Headley will move down to second, and it's now 5-1. Garrett Jones scores. I kind of wonder if he did that on his own.
I'll tell you what, I love it if he did. What a smart play when you execute it perfectly. It's an easy RBI for Gregorius. Runner at third, less than 2 out. Just bring that bunt with you.
I wonder if he'll get credited for a sacrifice, although it looked as though he was trying to drag the bunt. He got the job done. He moves Headley to second. Garrett Jones comes in to score.
We all know he struggles against left-handed pitching. Just a smart play right there.
So Stephen Drew is up with 2 outs now. Headley at second base. The Yankees have broken through for 4 runs here in the 6th inning. Breaking balls hit high and deep to right field. Hunter's back. This one is gone. A home run for Stephen Drew, and it's now 7-1 Yankees. For Drew, his 13th home run of the season. This one a 2-run shot.
Well, you can talk about batting average all you want, but you can't complain about the power and production. 13 bombs out of your second baseman. Able to smile a little bit and relax as the Yankees blowing this one open 7-1. Gregorius with the bunt RBI. Drew follows up with a 2-run shot.
Now back to the top of the order. And Jacoby Ellsbury swinging to the first pitch and pulls it foul.
He doesn't waste any time either. Goes up there and gets a hanger, and he takes care of it.
Back into the overhang seats. So Gibson charged with 6 earned runs as this pitch is fouled off. 0-2 on Ellsbury. I saw that last night with Murphy, and it was A-Rod who lifted the backup catcher in the air. A-Rod does it again, getting a workout. The 0-2 pitch, and Ellsbury pops it in the air down the left field side. Going to be a long run. Let's see if Nunez can get there. He can't. The ball's into the seats. So the Yankees have batted around here in the 6th inning. 9 men have come to the plate. They have scored 6 times. And Stephen Drew with a 2-run home run. Ellsbury fouls another one off. So Flash, we talked about how Eovaldi seems to be the pitcher this year that gets the most runs. I guess it doesn't matter how you get them. I mean, just they had a big inning here. Just over 7 runs per game when he pitches. And the Yankees are right at 7 right now. Ellsbury pulls one foul into the Twins dugout.
Well, the Yankees offensively have done their part. Eovaldi's pitching a good ball game. We talked about it so many times. The next step is getting deeper into games for Eovaldi. This is a perfect setup for him this afternoon.
The 0-2 pitch, and it's a little looper towards center field, and it's going to be caught by Trevor Plouffe, and that's going to do it for the Yankees in the 6th. They score 6 times. Garrett Jones, Chase Headley, Gregorius gets a run home, and this is the capper. Stephen Drew's 2-run home run. John's.com tomorrow for 50% off your online regular menu price order. Use promo code Yankees6 at papajohns.com. 6 runs in the top half of the inning. It's propelled the Yankees to a 7-1 lead as Nathan Eovaldi drills one in there for a called strike to Brian Dozier. Top of the order for the Twins here in their half of the 6th. Look out, high and inside, and it's a ball and a strike. It was a 97-mile-an-hour fastball.
This will get your attention. Big inning, 6 runs, and now an up and in, high and tight fastball.
The 2-0 pitch, and that misses. 3 balls and no strikes. Eovaldi, pitch count in good order, 62 pitches. Dozier today is 1 for 2 with a strikeout. Look out, up and in again, and he's drawn ball 4. That is the first walk handed out by Nathan Eovaldi. Maybe the long layoff has affected him.
Well, he's been in total control pitch count wise, pounding the strike zone, and here the ball scattering all over the place. Couple of high and tight fastballs.
Well, that drew the ire of a predominantly Twins crowd here. They don't like their all-star second baseman ducking and diving at home plate. Here's Torrey Hunter, who has struck out and was retired on a rocket off the glove of Chase Headley at third, which Gregorius picked up and then threw on the first. And now Brian McCann's going to go out and say, look, I got a glove, try and hit it.
You know what? There have been a couple of close pitches here. Tom Woodring, the home plate umpire, has not given Eovaldi either of them. I think Brian McCann saw a little bit of frustration from Eovaldi. Here's a look at the last pitch. Borderline, just misses. He doesn't get the call. McCann went out there to calm down his pitcher. Let's regroup, get back on the same page. A 6-run lead. Let's go to work.
There's a called strike, and it's a ball and a strike on the veteran Hunter. Having a pretty good season. As we mentioned earlier in the series, just turned 40 years old. They'll probably try and come back again next year. Next pitch, fouled at the plate, and I got a piece of McCann.
That's the last thing you want to see right here. Everything's been going along so nicely. A 6-run lead. Well, Brian McCann takes a foul ball. Mark Littlefield out there, Joe Girardi. We'll take a look and see where it got him. Yeah, I don't miss that part of the game right there, Kenny.
That's one reason I didn't want to be a catcher. As McCann's going to try and walk this one off. Mark Littlefield out there with Joe Girardi to check on McCann, who certainly has been a big part of the Yankees offensively and defensively this year. Looks like he's good to go. And Hunter's up there with a count of a ball and 2 strikes. Pitch is hit on the ground to the left side. Headley cuts it off. He goes to Drew for 1. On to Garrett Jones for the double play. So after the walk, Eovaldi comes back with a ground ball to third, and the Yankees turn to double play.
Well, easy play for Headley. Good throw to Drew. Has a lot on that throw across the diamond to get Hunter. Things look like they were getting away from Eovaldi a little bit. The leadoff walk, he regroups, gets a nice double play ground ball.
So now there's 2 outs, nobody on it. Joe Mauer to the plate. Mauer has singled and also flying out to center field. And the first pitch is poured in there for a call strike. 96 miles an hour. I got a piece of McCann as well. Been a rough inning for the Yankee catcher. Did it get him or the umpire?
Yeah, he's looking back like it maybe got Tom Woodring.
Okay. Woodring didn't even flinch. The umpires do have shin guards on. Ball hit on the ground. A couple of hops for Stephen Drew. Over to Garrett Jones, and that'll do it for the Twins here in the 6th. A leadoff walk does not hurt the Yankees. So on to the 7th. Yankees lead 7-1.
A strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag #YesDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Brett Gardner leading off the top of the 7th. Brett led off last inning with a hard base hit to right field and led to a big 6-run outburst for the Yankees. He swings and misses at a breaking ball. Ryan O'Rourke back to work. Came in for Kyle Gibson, who had it going on for the first 5 innings. The Yankees got to him in the 6th. O'Rourke, a 27-year-old rookie, made his major league debut on the 7th of July.
O'Rourke from Worcester, Massachusetts. Twins originally picked him in the 13th round 5 years ago.
Brett Gardner having a good afternoon. A double in the 1st, base hit in the 6th. Yankees trying to add on here and get a win and move on to Texas.
Well, if they do win this one, they will take 2 out of 3 the hard way. They lost the first game, and they lost it emphatically by a score of 10-1. Last night's comeback victory, and today they have a 6-run lead as we hit the last 3 innings of this game.
Minnesota Twins enjoying a nice season, 52-45 coming into this one. A lot of people were interested how they would react this afternoon after losing a tough game last night. Brett Gardner works a leadoff walk here to start the 7th.
Third time that Brett has been on base this afternoon.
You think back to last night when Paul Molitor was in the dugout, things were going well for the Twins. Got thrown out of that ball game and things fell apart at the end. Big reason why right there, Alex Rodriguez with a huge ball game, 3 home runs.
62nd time that he's had a multi-home run game in his career. 62 times.
Well, this game is shaping up to be that Alex Rodriguez can take a full day off. Look forward to his birthday tomorrow and series back in Texas. Mark Teixeira 0 for 2 with a walk, scored a run. Be a 2-1 from the left-hander. Pulled foul.
Third base coach Joe Espada, a little skip rope in the coaching box at third. That one went right behind him. Joe is actually not only third base coach, he's in charge of the Yankees' inner defense in the infield.
Ball hit hard again, but foul.
I had a talk with him the other day about a play that happened in the Mariners series at Yankee Stadium when he shifted Didi Gregorius with 2 strikes in a count, and the ball was hit exactly where he moved to. And Joe said he went with the count. He felt that the hitter was Dustin Ackley, would be more apt to pull the ball, and he pulled it to the right side of second base. And it was the 3rd out of an inning. Pitches inside. So he just had an inkling. The count went to 3-2. He thought Tanaka would throw a fastball. He did, and the ball was hit right there.
It's nice when it works out, right?
Yeah.
Teixeira's worked the count full. Brett Gardner taking his lead off at first base. We'll see if he's on the move with a full count. Not running. And a pop-up in the infield. Eduardo Nunez calling and making the play.
Looked like O'Rourke went to something off speed, had Teixeira out in front. Yeah, you can see the changeup grip. Teixeira straight up to Silo.
One down will bring up Brian McCann. And one thing O'Rourke was doing a good job in AAA, holding lefties to a 125 batting average. McCann 0 for 2, a walk and a run. Be a 2-0 from O'Rourke. Good swing, fouled off.
That was a good swing. Maybe McCann's best of the day. Pitch is right there, and he's just a hair late.
Fouled straight back again.
Souvenir for a fan just in front of us.
Yeah, this booth definitely has the feeling like you can get a foul ball in here, Kenny.
Well, we got enough people up here with a chance to get it. But it's not going to be me, I'll tell you that. Those days are over. We might have to rely on Meredith to bail us out.
Full confidence in Meredith.
Yeah.
Good take by McCann. He works himself another walk. The Yankees have something going here in the 7th inning. 1st and 2nd, 1 down.
Well, it was the walks that got the Twins in trouble last inning. In particular, starter Kyle Gibson. He walked 2, he gave up a hit, then walked 2. That loaded the bases with nobody out. The Yankees were off and running. They scored 6 times.
Beltran 1 for 3 with a double, struck out his last at bat. Switches over to hit right-handed. Takes a first pitch strike. '30th pitch for O'Rourke coming. This ball hit down the left field line. Plouffe chasing. It's going to find the seats.
Now here's where pitching changes, where a manager will go to a left-hander from a right-hander, or the vice versa. Doesn't really affect the Yankees like it might affect other teams, because you have Teixeira, Beltran, and Headley sprinkled throughout the lineup. 3 switch hitters. So these guys just jump over to the other side of the plate. And all 3 of them are run producers.
O'Rourke quickly ahead in the count, 0-2 to Carlos Beltran. Just misses. Carlos hitting .239 with runners in scoring position. A chance to add on right here. He's not going to do it, though. Another strikeout. Carlos Beltran.
O'Rourke's going to pick up his first strikeout here. And something that has Beltran out in front. Well located pitch.
Two down will bring up Garrett Jones, playing first base today. Had a big base hit his last at bat. That very productive 6th inning. 5 home runs, 17 RBIs.
J.R. Graham in the Twins pen.
Good breaking ball right there from O'Rourke. McCann on first. Brett Gardner taking his lead off a second.
You mentioned the Yankees are headed to Texas. The Rangers are on the West Coast playing the Angels today. But the Rangers have been playing some pretty good baseball. They've won 4 in a row coming into this afternoon's action. So this is what the Yankees are going to be dealing with. It's 1-1. What, top of the 3rd. The Orioles have beaten Tampa Bay. They took 2 out of 3.
Baltimore getting back on track after that losing streak. Yeah, a couple in a row.
They won that series.
Ball hit hard but pulled foul. Well, the Yankees trying to get through this long road trip with a winning record. Things will get easier the rest of the way as far as travel is concerned. A 2-2 from O'Rourke. Little check swing. Third base umpire said that he went. Jeff Nelson with the call. So O'Rourke got himself in a little bit of trouble first and second, but is able to wiggle his way out of it. A strikeout of Garrett Jones. The Yankees lead 7-1. We're going to move on to the bottom of the 7th, but we are going to stay right here and enjoy God Bless America here in Minnesota. Yankees lead 7-1. By your local Nissan dealer. Yankees lead 7-1. Headley, a big afternoon, 2 for 3, a home run, 3 RBIs, 2 runs. Stephen Drew, a 2-run shot, and Eovaldi has looked strong. 6 innings, 3 hits, only 1 run, 4 strikeouts. Eovaldi back out there for the bottom of the 7th inning. We'll face Miguel Sano to lead off the 7th. 70 pitches for Eovaldi. First pitch strike to Sano. Split finger quickly ahead in the count, 0-2.
I like the fact that Eovaldi, he gets the ball back and he's ready to go. They've got a nice little rhythm going here.
Eovaldi makes quick work of Sano right there. 3 pitches and a strikeout. We're going to throw it back to Ryan Ruocco in our Yes Network studios. Ryan. Thank you very much, Ryan. Be Trevor Plouffe. Again, Eovaldi quickly ahead in the count. We have a defensive change as Chris Young has taken over in right field for Carlos Beltran. Yankees tightening up the defense a little bit. Plouffe 0 for 2, a fly ball and a ground ball to short.
Meanwhile, Eovaldi hasn't given up a hit since the 3rd inning.
You know, Joe Girardi and Larry Rothschild in that dugout are loving this performance from Eovaldi. Only 76 pitches, 6-run lead. Opportunity to give your bullpen a day off. Talked about it all the time, this long road trip. No days off. Eovaldi quickly out in front, 1-2.
In fact, going back to the 3rd inning, since then, there's only been 1 base runner against Eovaldi. That was Brian Dozier, who walked in the 6th, and he was erased on a double play. Strong performance for the young right-hander. He'll be headed back to his native state of Texas.
2-2 to Plouffe. Fly ball to right field to the new right fielder Chris Young. Be an easy play for him, and 2 quick outs here in the 7th inning for Eovaldi. So 2 down will bring up Eddie Rosario.
Now the way that Eovaldi is pitching in this ball game, you figure if he can get a quick out here, Joe Girardi's going to let him go at least 1 more inning. His season high in pitches is 111. That was against the Red Sox.
There's a base hit. Rosario going the other way. Later today on Yes, catch a new WB Mason Presents the Joe Girardi Show and get the skipper's take as the July 31st trade deadline approaches. Plus, get the answers to your questions submitted via Twitter. It's all new today after the postgame, only on Yes. Two down, shortstop Eduardo Nunez. Nunez 0 for 2, a couple of ground balls. First pitch swinging, fouled straight back. Batting average at .274, a couple of home runs, 11 RBIs. Again, Eovaldi quickly ahead in the count, 0-2.
It looked like a split. It's usually in mid-80s, mid to upper 80s for Eovaldi.
Pitch count at 82. 2 outs here in the 7th inning. Here's the next step for Eovaldi, pitching deeper into ball games. He's doing it this afternoon. A ground ball just out of the reach of Gregorius. Will be another hit. Twins trying to get something going here with 2 down.
That one just eluded the diving Didi Gregorius. There's a split that kind of hung up a bit. And Nunez puts a pretty good pass on it underneath the glove of Gregorius. And with 2 outs, the Twins put 2 men on.
That'll bring up their catcher Kurt Suzuki, 0 for 2 today. A couple of ground outs. Rosario off second, Nunez taking his lead off for first. Eovaldi trying to work his way through 7 strong innings. But Suzuki first pitch swinging, pulls one foul. A little action in the Yankee bullpen. Justin Wilson getting loose. Kenny mentioned it. Eovaldi has thrown 111 pitches in a game this year, so he has a ways to go. It'll be an 0-1 to Suzuki. Lifted. Stephen Drew settling underneath it. Nathan Eovaldi gave up a couple of 2-out hits, but he is through 7 very strong innings. He's only given up 1 run this afternoon. The Yankees lead 7-1.
Take on the Texas Rangers, a game you can see only on Fox Sports 1. Coverage begins at 8 p.m. on Fox Sports 1. It's streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Once again, a very good crowd on hand on our Hyundai scoreboard. It's 7-1 Yankees. We're in the top of the 8th inning. Yankees trying to make this 2 out of 3. New pitcher coming in for the Minnesota Twins is J.R. Graham. He was a pitcher that the Twins picked in the Rule 5 draft out of the Atlanta Braves organization. And you see, he's kind of old school with the way he wears his socks. And one reason he does that, because his mom is legally blind, but she can make out the likeness of his socks, and she knows that her son's on the field pitching. So he's in there right now. That is definitely old school. Chase Headley's had a very good afternoon, and he takes a pitch from Graham outside ball 1. Headley has driven in a couple of runs. He's had a homer and a single. And he's also scored a couple of runs. The home run was number 9 on the season. Yankees 7, Twins 1. We're in the 8th. And Headley takes a call strike from Graham.
Looking at those socks, Kenny, that takes me back to 1985. St. Joseph's Regional High School wearing the high stirrups like that. It's a good look right there.
And pitch misses. Graham falls behind 2-1. Yeah, we all used to wear them like that, but some players would actually pull the pants down just to the top, and I thought it was very stylish. And there's a swing and a miss, and it's 2-2.
Well, you mentioned he was a Rule 5 from the Atlanta Braves. The Yankees don't know a whole lot about him. I think Chase Headley just found out a pretty good breaking ball right there. Fastball at about 94, 95. There's a nasty slider right here. Starts middle of the plate and then just dives in.
Now, last year, this time, he was pitching for Double-A Mississippi in the Atlanta Braves organization. Another breaking ball, and Headley spoils this one. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. You know, like all players, Flash, were you one of those players liked your uniform just so?
Oh, yeah, it had to be perfect, sure.
Yeah. I remember when the uniform people would come to spring training, I would say, I want my uniform to look just right. Because if I play poorly, I'm going to look good doing it. The 2-2 pitch is on the way, and Headley swings and misses strike 3. So Headley retired for the 2nd time today. He's 2 for 4. As Graham strikes out the first battery bases.
I think it was that good slider again. Headley saw a few of them, and they're all excellent. Perfect location, good bite.
So 1 down, it'll bring up D.D. Gregorius, who picked himself up a run batted in, laid down a bunt to get a runner home from third. He's 0 for 2 with that sacrifice and an RBI. Graham deals, and it's a swing and a miss. You can actually see the Twins logo on Graham's socks, the TC. Until now, I wasn't aware there were logos on their socks. Little number, and it's off the foot of Gregorius, and that's going to be a foul ball, as the Yankee shortstop's going to walk this one off.
Yeah, look at those stirrups.
Look at that homer. That's over at the Metrodome. And last one had 3 men on base.
Kenny, not a whole lot of movement, huh, before you swung. Just standing there all proud of yourself and letting it fly.
Let go. Well, it was so long ago, it feels like somebody else did it. Pitch to Gregorius is outside for a ball, 1-2.
We saw the slider to Headley, and now the split finger from Graham. Good fastball, good slider, and the split.
You notice there was no HD in those days, Flash.
That was before the baggy in right field at the Metrodome, huh?
Yeah, the seats were just exposed, you know, and there was a low fence. Hit hard on the ground, backhanded by Maurer, and he's going to flip the Graham covering, and there are 2 down. So 2 up and 2 down for the Yankees here. The Twins have been able to retire the Yankees in order just 1 time in this game, and that was back in the 4th inning. There's the no baggy. Those are the football seats. The baggy was, the fence itself wasn't solid, and outfielders could run into it, and before they put the baggy up there, and you could hit a ball if it didn't go over the baggy, then it came back down on the field, was in play. A pitch to Drew is in there for a strike. Now you saw those seats that were exposed. They used to call those the Dracula seats because they were straight down. They actually folded out. So you know how Jack really used to just hang, and that's what they called those seats. That pitch misses for a ball. You appreciated the Metrodome when it was really cold early in the season, or even really hot in the middle of the summer. Drew had a home run his last time, a 2-run shot, his 13th of the year, and he hits this one hard, but Dozier gets in front of it, and the Yankees are going to go 1-2-3 here in the 8th inning. So J.R. Graham gets the job done. It's on to the bottom of the 8th. The Yankees with a 6-run lead.
One run, he struck out 5. We're going to look at all 5 of those strikeouts. We all know about the big fastball by Eovaldi, but the split finger is really a pitch that's helped him out lately. A couple of strikeouts on the split. Once you throw that a few times, you can throw some fastballs right by some people. Nathan Eovaldi having a nice afternoon with those 5 strikeouts, 1 run through 7 innings.
He's still in there as he goes to the bottom of the 8th. He's allowed a run on 5 hits. He'll get Hicks, and then the top of the order with Dozier and Hunter. Aaron Hicks has one of those 5 hits, a single. He scored the Twins run. That was in the 3rd. And Eovaldi starts him out with a breaking ball, drops it in there for a call strike. Good mix of pitches for the 25-year-old right-hander today. This is his first ever appearance against the Minnesota Twins, and so far he's made it a very, very good one. Another off-speed pitch, this time a swing and a miss, strike 2.
You know, Kenny, you bring up a good point, though, the first pitch breaking ball, and you like to see the fact that Eovaldi hasn't gotten away from what's worked for him. Sometimes you see pitchers get a 6-run lead and you just start throwing fastball after fastball. Eovaldi still pitching a little bit on our Hyundai scoreboard. 7-1 Yankees lead.
The 0-2 pitch on the way, and it's high and away. Well, we got the attendance figures for this afternoon. Another good crowd here at Target Field, 37,391. That one kind of hung a bit, and Hicks has his 2nd hit of the afternoon. A leadoff single here in the 8th inning. This is the only time, well, no, not the only time. The Twins had a leadoff man on in the 6th by the base on balls, and he was erased on a double play. So now to the top of the order, and Brian Dozier. He too has one of the 5. They'll make that 6 Twins hits. That hits the corner, and it's strike one. Still getting it up there, 96 miles an hour. Dylan Betances throwing leisurely in a Yankee bullpen. On the ground, and a nice stop by Gregorius, but he'll have no play. So back-to-back singles here for the Twins to start off the 8th inning. Might see Betances throw a little bit harder in the bullpen.
A nice play by Gregorius just to get there, but Dozier runs too well. No play at first. See Hicks taking his lead. He's off on contact. There's no play at second base. He thought about throwing it across the diamond. Wise decision to hold on to it.
So pitching coach Larry Rothschild out to the mound. This serves two purposes. This gives Eovaldi a little bit of a break, and it also gives Betances a chance to heat up in the pen. Yep, he's thrown a little bit harder now. You can hear the pop of the glove out there in the bullpen. Here's Torrey Hunter, the veteran right fielder. Does have an RBI today, but he is 0 for 3. Hicks at second, Dozier at first. Swing and a miss on a splitter, strike one, and a good one.
Torrey Hunter struck out his first at bat, and some bad swings on the split finger. Great look at the grip, great look at the action on it, and Hunter swinging right over the top.
That pitch has really come along for Eovaldi. He was working on that in spring training. It was not really fully developed. Ground ball to short, could be two. Gregorius to Drew for one. On to Jones, and there's a double play. Taylor made. And now there are 2 outs and a runner at third.
Well, Torrey Hunter hits a rocket, but Eovaldi will take it right at Gregorius. Kind of a bad hop. Didi able to hang in there. Easy 6-4-3.
So now 2 down, and Joe Mauer to the plate. Singled in the first inning, and since then he's flied to center, grounded to second. And the first pitch misses the inside corner for ball one. Two balls and no strikes. Now every time Eovaldi puts one into the win column, it's a new career high. His career high was last year when he won 6 games for the Marlins. There's a strike, and it's 2-1 to Mauer. Now what the Yankees saw when they traded for him was a pitcher with a big arm. Remember, Eovaldi led the National League in hits allowed last year. They felt with a little coaching and putting him under the care of Larry Rothschild, they get themselves a pitcher. Pitch is fouled back, and it's 2-2. And Flash, I would think you're starting to see some fine development from Nathan Eovaldi.
Yeah, I think you could see it's been coming, and David Cohn talked about it in the pregame show, how it's been coming along. The split finger's gotten better. And I think the best way to describe it, Kenny, at the beginning of the year, maybe he was throwing a little bit, trying to overpower hitters. Now he's pitching. He's kind of slowed the game down. Pitch selection has gotten a lot better. And obviously the split finger fastball, a big pitch.
Ball top to the right side. Garrett Jones will flip to Eovaldi, and they will leave a man on third base. Eovaldi gives up 2 hits, gets a double play. The Twins leave a runner. We played 8. It's 7-1 Yankees.
Immediately following the game, I'll talk to Chase Headley, who's driven in 3 this afternoon on the field. Also, hear from Nathan Eovaldi, who looks like he is setting up to win his 10th game of the season, as well as many others in the clubhouse. Ryan Ruocco and David Cohn will be there in studio for all the highlights and analysis. All coming up on WB Mason Presents, the post-game show immediately following the game.
You'll certainly want to stay tuned for that, as the Yankees are in front 7-1 as we're in the top of the ninth. Ellsbury, Gardner, and Teixeira, top of the order. J.R. Graham still in there. He set the Yankees down 1-2-3 in the 8th. Showed a good breaking ball in doing so. The 0-1 count to Ellsbury. High and inside, straightens him up, and it's a ball and a strike. Two and one on Jacoby.
Well, Jacoby trying to salvage his afternoon. 0 for 4, looking to maybe get a knock here and get on to Texas. Going through a little tough stretch lately.
Now it's 2-2. And with Graham, you can see why the Twins went for him in the Rule 5 draft. They probably saw a lot of that slider. And he's got a decent fastball as well. Full count now on Ellsbury. He'll be followed by Gardner, who has had a good afternoon. Gardner's reached base 3 times. It's a good shot at the table setters in action. Fouled off. Count remains full at 3-2.
You know, it used to be that Rule 5 draft where you pick up a minor leaguer from another organization and you have to keep him in the big leagues. Was a player that you're trying to hide, maybe a backup infielder, a guy who can run, maybe a bullpen arm. Graham is not that case. He's having a good year, getting an opportunity here in Minnesota as a good arm.
Once again, the payoff pitch, and it swung on it, missed, strike 3. Graham picks up his second strikeout.
Yeah, the slider, really the pitch that jumps out at you. I know he throws 95, 96, but this is a nasty break. Ellsbury right over the top.
So 1 out here in the top of the 9th, and here's Gardner. We told you he's had a good day. He's doubled, single, scored a run, and also drawn a base on balls. 2 for 3 with that walk. And that misses ball 1. As Flash told you, it was Gardner who got things started in the 6th inning. That's when the Yankees broke a 1-1 tie, scoring 6 times. Batted around. 6 runs on 4 hits that inning. Stephen Drew with a 2-run homer. Ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. There were also 2 base on balls that eventually came around to score for the Yankees in the 6th. Hit on the ground. Joe Mauer has it, and he's going to take it himself, and that'll be out number 2. Nathan Eovaldi looks like he'll be out there for the 9th inning. If he gets the win this afternoon, he'll be the first Yankee starter to get to double figures in victories. And Flash, he's never pitched a complete game.
Well, I like it. Give him the opportunity to go out there and kind of take that next step. And, you know, you mentioned how he's progressed this year, Kenny. It would be nice if Joe Girardi could rely on him to be your innings eater every time he takes the ball.
Teixeira's 0 for 3 with a walk and a run scored, and he's tried to check his swing. Did he? No, he did not, says third base umpire Jeff Nelson. ball and a strike. The Twins would have Sano, Plouffe, and Rosario. They're scheduled hitters in the bottom of the ninth. There is Justin Wilson. We saw him a little earlier warming up. Taking a few to the mitt. Swing and a miss. 1-2. A good fastball. 96 from J.R. Graham. Graham has faced 5 Yankees, retired them all. Look out. Did he get him? Nope. Just missed. Teixeira got out of the way. And it's 2-2.
Another look at that 95-mile-an-hour fastball in off the plate. Wonder if he's trying to set up that slider coming right behind it.
I like it when you're catching. There it is, but it's ball 3. Teixeira did not bite. Teixeira and A-Rod among the top 10 in the league in base on balls. Teixeira has one today. Swing and a miss. The ball gets away from the catcher Suzuki. He recovers, throws on the Mauer, and that'll do it. So 2 Yankees have struck out. Eovaldi's down in the tunnel. Is he coming out to start the bottom of the ninth? Here he comes. Oh, that's Ellsbury. There he is. Cadillac dealers. For exceptional summer offers, visit CadillacTristate.com. By People's United Bank N.A. Put the power of know-how to work for you. And by your Tri-Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Tri-Honda dealer for great deals on the 2015 models. So Nathan Eovaldi will try and close this one out and pitch a complete game, which would be his first ever in the major leagues. He's leading 7-1 here in the bottom of the ninth. Miguel Sano is up to the plate. He's 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts in the first pitch. There's a swing and a miss for strike 1. The Yankees have only had 2 other complete games this season, one by CC Sabathia and the other by Michael Pineda. Ball is hit hard down the left field line, and this is off the wall. Sano rounding first, and he's on his way to second. It's a little closer than he thought. It's going to be a double, and he's on at second base in scoring position to lead it off for the Twins here in the ninth.
Yeah, you know the leash is not going to be long, and Joe Girardi's going to pop right up out of that dugout. Probably make a pitching change. 100 pitches for Eovaldi, and the last one not his best, a hanging slider.
So that will do it as Joe Girardi is going to take the ball from Nathan Eovaldi. What an effort by the young right-hander. plus innings, 8 hits, a run. The runner at second base, Sano, is his responsibility. He walked 1, struck out 5, 100 pitches on the nose. Well, the 25-year-old right-hander, who, if Justin Wilson can finish off these last 3 outs, Eovaldi would be the winner, and it would be his 10th of the year. Numbers on Wilson coming up. His 45th appearance. He's done well out of the bullpen, 3-0. Only 23 hits in 35 innings. And he has struck out 33 along the way, and opponents are hitting under 200. And the first batter he will face will be the Twins' third baseman, Trevor Plouffe, who was 0 for 3 this afternoon. Wilson with a fastball just outside for ball 1. Well, a bird sanctuary is sprung in center field, or center field camera. Camera 8. Oh, there he goes. He flew to Coop. The 1-0 pitch. Swung on in. There's strike 1. There's that good fastball from Wilson.
Yeah, Wilson should be well rested. Last time he pitched was Tuesday against Baltimore.
Another swing and a miss by Plouffe. I was talking to Wilson before the game about the Yankees' most recent trip to California, because he was born in Anaheim. And I asked him, how did you enjoy being near home? And he said, well, actually, he grew up in Clovis, California, which is, he said, about 3 hours away.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, so close to Fresno in the center of the state in the San Joaquin Valley. Here's a pitch fouled off by Plouffe. And I mentioned to him that I had played in the California League in Visalia, California. And he said that's about 45 minutes from where he grew up. And I also told him Visalia is one of those towns I really enjoyed. I wasn't there all that long. I think about 3 months or so. I got shipped off to AAA from A-ball. Or promoted, let's put it that way. Pitch is on the way, and it's fouled off again by Plouffe. And that's one of the towns in the minor leagues that I'd like to go back to and see what it looks like now. I don't know if you had any favorites when you were in the minors.
Well, let's see. Elmira, New York, Winter Haven, Florida, New Britain, Connecticut, Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
Well, we have something in common there. Winter Haven was my first stop in the minor leagues. Nice little town.
Yep.
Pitches in the dirt. Good stop by McCann. No advance by the runner. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Trevor Plouffe. Remember in Winter Haven, I lived in like a little motel and was on a lake. I wasn't really much of a fisherman, though. A lot of bus riding in the Florida State League and a lot of rain, too. 2-2 pitch to Plouffe. Hits it on the ground. This is towards the middle. It's going to get into center field for a base hit. Sano's being waved home. Ellsbury's throw is going to come to second. And the Twins are now down 7-2. That run is charged to Nathan Eovaldi.
Well, Trevor Plouffe has been swinging the bat well since the All-Star break and had quite a battle with Justin Wilson going and able to win it, driving in Sano.
Yeah, Plouffe in his last 17 games, 5 doubles, a triple, and 4 home runs. And now a single to drive in a run. Now Betances is up again. Rookie left fielder Eddie Rosario, left-handed hitter, will hit against Wilson. And he'll take a pitch downstairs for ball 1. Rosario had a hit his last time up off Eovaldi and is 1 for 3. Rookie from Puerto Rico having himself a pretty good rookie season with that .281 batting average. Fouls one back. And it's always important for young players to get off well with the home crowd. Rosario had a 14-game home hitting streak to begin his career. So Twins fans right away began to recognize who this young man was. Just 23 years old. Takes one for a call strike, and Wilson jumps ahead on the count, 1-2. Yankees trying to erase these last 3 outs and then move on to Texas. Tomorrow night they begin a 4-game series against the Rangers. And the Yankees might have some revenge on their mind. They were swept by the Rangers in New York earlier this year. That's outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wilson's ready. Ball is fouled back. Rosario hanging tough. Fastball up there at 96.
Rosario taking a big hack with 2 strikes right there. Aggressive swing. I've seen Wilson go more to the breaking ball this inning than I remember in the past. Usually it's just that power fastball comes right at hitters and attacks.
Ball on the ground. It's going to get through in the right field for a hit. At this point, the Twins are playing it station to station. Kloof is going to stop at second as Chris Young gets the ball back in. And Rosario picks up his 2nd consecutive hit. He's 2 for 4. And the Twins have opened the bottom of the 9th with 3 straight hits. And Joe Girardi's going to go to the bullpen again. He's going to go to the big man, Dellin Betances, in relief of Justin Wilson, who came on for Nathan Eovaldi. So with 2 outs and nobody on, Twins are in business. This time he brings out big right-hander, the All-Star, 2-time All-Star, Dellin Betances, and making his 46th appearance. And you can see the numbers; they are overpowering. 83 strikeouts and 51 in the 3rd innings, and opponents are hitting just 1, 2, 1. So Girardi is hoping that Betances can pick up these last 3 outs. He'll face Eduardo Nunez. As the Twins have a run in and 2 men on here in the 9th inning. Nunez had a single his last time. He's 1 for 3. You see Kloof at second, Rosario at first, and nobody out. Ball 1 inside. Nunez gave up everything.
99 miles an hour, and it's running in off the plate. Nunez able to get out of the way.
For once, the helmet stayed on, though. High fly ball to center field. And it's put away by Ellsbury for out number 1. So Nunez is down. And the veteran Kurt Suzuki will come to the plate with 2 men on. Ivan Nova and Nathan Eovaldi talking it over. Nova gets to start tomorrow night in Texas. Suzuki today is 0 for 3, and he takes a pitch for a call strike. Breaking ball, and there is call strike 2. Suzuki didn't think so. He's not happy with the call of Tom Woodruff. And he's letting them know about it.
Yeah, this isn't Dellin Betances' best breaking ball. It just kind of spins and stays up. Brian McCann brings it back down to the strike zone a little bit, and they get the call.
Hit hard right at Headley. This could be a double play. The throw to first is in time, and the ball game is over. The Yankees win it by a score of 7-2 as Rosario is doubled off first base. Wait a minute, they're going to check it. It appears that Paul Molitor, if he has nothing to lose, they're going to look this one over again. Nope, he says no. They must have looked at it, the Twins themselves, and realized that Rosario is out, and they're not going to challenge, and the victory will go to the Yankees without any further delay. And they have taken 2 out of 3 here against the Twins, and they did it the hard way. They dropped the first game and came back to win the next 2. Nathan Eovaldi has picked up his 10th win of the year as the Yankees win by a score 7-2. In just a moment, we're going to send it back to our Yes Network studios where Ryan Rucco and David Cohn are standing by. Take it away, guys.